Hey folks, this is your host, the one, the only, Thrifty Gamer 83 here. I've been updating and retooling and upgrading my old Dell Precision 690. In fact, what I've done is I've given it a TimeLeak HD 72B with an HDMI output and an HDMI input. I've also added a little game cap USB capture card, and I found a Huppage PVR 1800, believe it or not, in a swap shop, which actually works. As well, I've upgraded the processors to dual-core, quad-core Xeon X53 55s, which is at 2.66 gigahertz, and I've witnessed a dramatic improvement. As well, I've upgraded the video card to a Quadro FX 4800, which cuts a lot of the editing time in half. It also cuts a lot of the frustration in half and a lot of errors in half or load ups. I've really taken care of this great system. It's a little bulky, I know. It's a server workstation, but it's actually been a very good gaming tower, despite coming out in 2006. Yes, that's right. It came out in about 2006, 2007. It's heftier than a normal tower, but, I like the fact that it can have multiple capture devices as well. The Quadro FX 4800 for more of the video editing purposes, not so much of the gaming purposes for PC, but it also does pretty good for that. It's fast, it's competent, it's a good little card for the FX 4800. So far, it only has 12 gigs of RAM. I'm probably going to upgrade that, but for right now, I'm just going to put it on the back burner, as PJ has yet to make his appearance, so I really don't mind the 12 gigs of RAM. And really, I've been using an Xbox 360 controller just to tool around on some of the PC games, just really getting used to it. And I must say, the Precision 690 really does suit my needs at this time. I followed some of the Linus Tech Tips. However, I really felt like I wanted to make this one my own. So, just taking the capture cards into account, putting in the putting in the new processors, the new graphics card, it flies for me. It really does perform well. It works well and plays nice with Windows 10. It has great expandability options in terms of capture cards as well. As I said before, I've got about 3 cards in it right now. The PVR 1800 by Huppage can actually capture S-video. I usually use the game cap for composite capture, and the TimeLeak HD 72B really does come in handy, because not only can I output the signal to a TV, it also allows for accurate frame capture, such as I can watch it on the television, which I like to do for outputting the sound, and I can make sure that it's synced up properly to my monitor and that it's synced up properly to the TV. So, yeah, that's something I like. Little bit here and there. It doesn't have the newer UEFI BIOS. It has the older BIOS settings, which can sometimes be a pain when determining whether or not this piece of Windows 10 Dell disk, factory disk, will actually work. I've done that in the past and made that mistake. UEFI, EFI, what have you. As well, like I said before, it doesn't have the UEFI BIOS, so picking newer video cards can kind of be a pain, but all in all, for something that's about 10 years old now, it's great to have around. It's great to tool around with. It's rather nice, and I do enjoy the design of the internal structure. It gives you a lot of room to work around in. I've noticed with some of the newer towers, it's very, very cramped, which is why I usually like running server-side systems as gaming systems. And I know the Quadro FX 4800 isn't really designed for gaming, but it's also designed for professional use, so using it professionally for video editing, encoding, it cuts everything just about. Let's see, in a video from composite, which would have taken 6 minutes, or sometimes up to 15 minutes with my older card, now I find it at about maybe 7 or 8 seconds. And for HD videos, it does that at about, say, I want to say 3 or 4 minutes, but still, that's pretty good time. For the editing, where it can be GPU intensive, or it can be CPU intensive, or it can be a little from column A, a little from column B, I really don't mind. The processors work great in tandem. They work well with multi-core games. It just really felt good to finally put this together, to claim it as my own, and to have it as a competent workstation for video editing, graphics editing, that type of stuff. I like the Linus Tech Tip videos on what you can do to make it a game, not so much the ghetto solution. I generally find that I'd want to have the case and tower assembled, but you know how that is. Sometimes you're not gonna exactly have it as I did. Someone actually gave me the Dell Precision 690, the full boat, I guess you'd call it, and so far it's worked out well. So far, I've really enjoyed working with it. It's been my primary system for going on, I'd say 4 years now. Before it started out with some low power Xeon processors, then some efficiency, and finally the X5355s, largely because of the editing. And I noticed that the low power and efficiency grades just weren't cutting the mustard. They would lag install. Video editing, they would lag install when I was trying to do a vid demux. They would lag install even when I was trying to open recording software. So, really, in upgrading the processors and in upgrading the graphics card, there's been a great potential for speed in editing, and it really just blew me away when I added the processors. It just took some of that time that I had spent trying to add the video with a vid demux. It took some of the time in the editing, outputting, and it just cut it in half. When I added the Quadro FX 4800, it greatly impacted the time in a positive way for editing. It could take it down to seconds. I've noticed there's been no lag. Provided I do only run DirectX 10 games, it's still very, very nice. It's, for me, just personally, the Dell Precision 690 will continue to be my project computer. It will continue to be my YouTube computer. It's probably one of the best Dell systems that's ever been designed. It really, really holds itself well over time as just a professional tower, as a middle range gaming setup and rig, and it's really highly, highly valued for me just as my main video editing rig. Alright folks, rant, rave, love, hate, click that subscribe button. You're keeping my show on the air. Have a good one.